Hello, and welcome to Webcrawlers, the podcast where we do a deep dive into the weirdest, strangest, and most mysterious corners of the internet. I'm Allie Siegel.
I'm Melissa Stetton.
We have a Patreon where you can get access to all sorts of different things. We are actually making some changes to the Patreon, which will happen within the next few weeks. Our true crime episodes, like the one you are hearing today, might soon be behind a paywall. But for now, you can join for as little as $2 a month by going to patreon.com/webcrawlers. Melissa, who are our patrons this week?
Heather, Lindsay, Amy.
Welcome to the team. Also, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. And call into our hotline and leave a voicemail if you'd like on our mailbag episodes. Leave a message about something we've discussed in an episode. Tell us a secret. Shh. A story or whatever you'd like. The number is 626 63 420 69.
626 63 420 69. Nice.
So our episode today is on a documentary and podcast, but Melissa and I both watched the documentary this weekend, I think. It's called Betrayal, the Perfect Husband, the case of Spencer Herron and Jenifer Faison.
Herron Faison.
It's on Hulu, and it is an adaptation from the very popular podcast.
I'd never heard of this podcast.
I hadn't either, but I guess it's
popular.
In the top 10 or something like that. But
I don't know.
Really interesting story about can you trust men? I think
not. Can you
not.
trust men?
I think not.
After this episode, you might be asking yourself,
who is my husband?
Who is my husband?
Who is my husband anyway? Today, we are going to delve into the case of Spencer Herron, who is a sexual predator. His actions shattered the lives of numerous victims. Yes. A crazy amount of victims. It also reminded me of some things that have happened to myself. I can imagine you probably have some stories too, Melissa, but we'll see.
Not to this extent. Yeah. But
he appeared to be an ordinary guy. Everyone loved him. People even referred to him as a saint, but behind closed doors. Ooh, Melissa's putting on lipstick for this one. You know who would like that? Spencer Herron.
Spence.
And also everyone called him Spence, which I hated.
Yeah, Spence.
I'm like, just call him Spencer. We don't need to give this man a nickname.
He doesn't get a nickname. That's for fun people.
Later on, I'm going to talk about red flags. And I think a man having a nickname, red flag.
Now that I think about it.
Well,
it's their alter ego.
Yeah, alter ego. Yes. So behind closed doors, much more sinister.
Much sinister.
Much sinister behind closed door. He was a teacher, a sex offender. He taught at Carlton J. Kell High School in Marietta, Georgia. He taught classes in video production. He worked at the school for 16 years and was even named Cobb County's Teacher of the Year twice.
Damn.
2016 and 2017. This is how good he was at keeping up a facade, which is...
He was the cool teacher. Everyone said he was the cool.
Which is common for narcissists, this kind of dual personality of everyone loves you in the public and then you have this alter ego. On June 1st, 2018, he was arrested in relation to 2 underage student allegations of sexual encounters with him. He went to jail. He is unfortunately out now. We're going to get into his case. And this podcast was done by his wife, Jenifer Faison, who found out and was married to him when he was arrested for all of these allegations. She found out about all these affairs that he was having, so on and so forth, and decided, I guess, to do a podcast to heal about it. I mean, I don't.
Sure, make some money while you're.
Make some cash. I mean, she was financially ruined by this whole situation.
Yeah.
So Also, it's important to note one of the things in this is that the age for consent or whatever in Georgia is 16 years old.
Right.
So it wasn't statutory rape.
That's right.
Which is part of it that sucks, because he had sex with the student, but she was 16, so it wasn't statutory rape. However, it is illegal for a teacher to have sex with a student. So that was the charge.
Right.
Thank God.
Loophole.
Yeah, loophole. So Spencer and Jenifer, the love story of Spencer and Jenifer, they met in college, like as teenagers, when at Berry College. It's a private liberal arts institution in Mount Berry, Georgia. Jenifer transferred there her junior year to study communications. And Spencer was a senior. So she was a junior, he was a senior. And he was the manager of the school's television station. And that's where they met, because she was communications and she wanted to be like a producer. He managed the school television station. And so they worked together at the television station. And, you know, there's all this old footage of them being like, hello and welcome to Berry College Station. Here's our school basketball game. Like, going over to you, Jenifer. You know, it's just...
Here's our school team homework game.
Yeah.
Classes, schedules. What do you do in college?
Yeah, so they worked together and they fell in love. He was known as like boy next door, Eagle Scout. Everyone loved him. They said, you know, if you needed to move apartments, move a couch, Spencer was the guy that you would call. Jenifer's whole family even loves Spencer.
I think they still do.
That's what's so awkward.
It's weird.
They interview Jenifer's parents, and Jenifer's mom is like, I'm just angry. I'm so angry at him. Like, I think they really...
At Spence.
Yeah. I think they really believe that he is the person that he showed to them. And they can't fathom that he might actually be this bad person, and that the saint is actually the alter ego.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
I think that this sexual predator, sex addict is who he is.
Yeah, his alter ego is the good.
This alter ego is the
Eagle
person,
Scout.
the Eagle Scout that he puts on. And I think that that's what's hardest for everyone to really fathom. So they dated for a few years. And then when Spencer graduated, Jenifer was like, you know, you're graduating. I'm still in college. You're going to go back home. I don't think I want a relationship right now. I just want to be single for my senior year.
Good for her.
Best decision of her life. But unfortunately, they end up crossing paths again. So they break up. Jenifer has a great senior year. Then she graduates and she moves to California, and she starts a very successful life as a television producer.
She worked on Extreme Home Makeover.
Yes, she worked on Extreme Home Makeover as a producer, and she worked on Judge Judy for 4 years.
That's right.
For which she was nominated for 2 Emmys.
Yeah.
And
that's amazing.
And
good for her.
You know, she dated here and there, but apparently she just never really got over Spencer. And
Spence.
Yeah. Spencer and Jenifer's college relationship was very college relationship-y. Spencer would make her mixtapes and of different love songs,
write her
love letters, and he would make her dinners with candlelight, and he would write out the menu of the dinner, like handwritten menus with different themes and love stuff, like very what we refer to as now, I think, is love bombing.
Yeah.
I think that was his MO, and Jenifer really fell into that because, of course, why wouldn't you? Especially if that's not in the lexicon of the time. That's just I'm falling in love with someone, and that's kind of what first love is. But then for him, that's his MO.
Yeah, that's what he does.
Yeah. So you know, Jenifer has a successful life in California. She's dating, but she doesn't have any serious relationships. She doesn't get married or anything like that. Spencer, however, is in Georgia. He gets married. He has children. He does something confusing, which I didn't even know existed. He joins the Air National Guard, but as a band member. So he's not actually in the Air National Guard. He just plays in a band for the Air National Guard.
That's what I understood.
So he like gets deployed with the Air National Guard, but he just
It's
plays,
like the what is it? The US
he's like
or US
he's like a USO singer or whatever. But but that's usually like, like Jessica Simpson will go visit the troops in Iraq and sing a few tunes. Like
this guy's just in a band.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Spencer travels with the Air National Guard and will just play Kenny Chesney or something on their off time for them. It's just so weird. The way they describe it is so weird, and I didn't even know this was a phenomenon that
I didn't either.
But I guess he does that. And he also is a teacher teaching video classes at the same time.
Yeah.
So this is also when Facebook is big. This is the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Spencer reaches out to Jenifer on Facebook. Spencer is like, hey, Jenifer, like I've been following your career. I still think about you sometimes. Just wanted to see how you are. Hope you're doing great. Let's catch up sometime. And Jennifer's all excited because she's always thought of Spencer, but she thinks that Spencer's married with kids. And so she thinks it's totally innocuous at this point.
Right.
Jenifer sends an email to him or messages him back, and they show this. And this is when I am not 100% pro Jenifer, just FYI. Jenifer sends a message back being like, oh, it's great to see you, or great to hear from you. Does your wife still hate me? Or something like that. Do you remember that from the documentary?
Yes.
And I'm like, Jenifer, girl, you shady.
Yeah, that's a little inappropriate to send you.
You're testing the waters,
Yeah. Does your wife still hate me?
Yeah, like you're trying to gauge the relationship right now.
She's been a little flirty.
Yes. And I think that stuff comes back. I'm not saying she did not deserve anything. I'm not victim blaming.
What are you trying to say? Because she was wearing something revealing.
Yeah, she was wearing a miniskirt and she deserved it. But I'm just saying.
Yeah. No, she definitely. I think she got it going.
Yeah. So, and I'll talk about that in a little bit about predators and how they test boundaries. But he's like, wife, like I haven't had one of those in years. Like, wife, I've never heard of one of those. Spencer tells Jenifer that he and his wife got a divorce because intimacy and sexual closeness in their relationship ended up dwindling. And I'm like, I bet his ex-wife probably caught him cheating or something like that. Even though they never discuss in the documentary what
that's right
happened.
Why they break up. Yeah.
Maybe in the podcast they do. I'm not sure. So Jenifer and Spencer start corresponding again. These college sweethearts who haven't talked in a while. And Spencer says, hey, I'm going to be in New York for work. You probably travel a lot for your work. Is there any chance you're going to be in New York during this time? All of a sudden, allegedly, Jenifer gets a call that she has to be in New York for work at the exact same time Spencer's going to be there. Girl, I call your bluff. Yeah.
That's what I was like, yeah, right.
Yeah. I was like, girl, you're lying and you're sticking with this lie, but okay.
Okay. You just want to make it seem like, oh, I just happen to be in New York too. No, girl.
Yeah. I'm like,
just
I know
admit
you're
you
lying.
To go. It's fine.
Just say, this situation has already blown up. Just tell the truth at this point.
But he was there for like 2 days or something. And she's like, oh, I just happen to be booked on a job.
Be there. Yeah. So she says she happens to be there at the same time. So of course they meet and they fall back in love. She says
magical.
Quote, she says, the night I re-met Spence in New York was magical. She recalls. It felt like it was meant to be. We really believed that we were soulmates. So they start dating again. She moves across the country to Georgia to be with him.
Yeah.
And
leaves her jobs.
Yeah. She just gives it all up for this guy.
Yeah.
And they
Her
end up
successful fucking producing career.
Yeah. And they end up getting married on December 30th, 2012. And they're living in Ackworth, Georgia. And they decide to purchase a wine bar together in downtown Ackworth, Georgia.
Oh boy. They're like in their 40s.
Yeah.
Now.
They're
Late 40s.
I think they're in their like 40s, 30s, 40s.
Yeah.
So they have this wine bar. I'll get to what happens in the wine bar.
What doesn't happen in the wine bar?
What doesn't happen in the what happens at the wine bar stays at the wine bar. So they have this wine bar, and my son, I think that this is all Jenifer has going is this wine bar.
Yeah.
But Spencer has the wine bar. He also has this weird Air Force band, and he also teaches at the school video club. He also teaches, and he's, as we said, teacher of the year. He's the cool teacher. He also teaches several after-school clubs. One of these clubs is the drone club. For some reason, he asks for all of the students' phone numbers.
For some reason,
he asks for everyone's personal cell phone numbers. And that is when he starts texting his victim, who eventually gets him incarcerated, this woman named Rachel, girl named Rachel, she's a woman now, who was 16 years old at the time of the sexual assault. He starts texting her after school. At first, it was about the drone club. And he's kind of like,
what do you think about drones?
What do you think about drones? You into drones?
Anyway, do you want to have sex?
Anyways, you want to fuck later. He's like testing the waters. He says, like, are you coming today to drone club? Or, next week at drone club, will you bring this or whatever? She thinks it's normal. Then he starts asking about music and movies. Mm-hmm. And he's like, she thinks it's weird that my teacher's texting me, but okay. Yeah. I will. This isn't, people who listen to the podcast will know that I say, this serial killer is hot sometimes or whatever. He's an attractive man.
Yes.
So that works in his favor. Like
he's a hot teacher.
Yeah. If you were in high school, this is the teacher you would have a crush on.
Yes.
He's like cool and attractive. So if you're kind of a nerdier girl and the attractive teacher at school is texting you and giving you extra attention, you're
feeling real special.
Yeah, your initial reaction is to be excited about it,
Mm-hmm.
So then, they start talking about music and movies. She'll say, "This is my favorite movie," and Spencer will be like, "Oh my god, I just watched that movie. That's amazing. We have all this in common."
A Bug's Life. I
love A Bug's Life. So
Ratatouille.
Yeah. I love Barney the dinosaur. Then one day, Spencer sends Rachel a picture of herself that she had posted on social media and says, "How could someone so pretty not have a boyfriend?"
Uh-oh.
And that's when the beginning of the relationship started to kind of shift. And at first, he would try to hold her hand for a second at school or like give her too long a hug. And then eventually that led to her him kissing her at school. And she was in a position of this power dynamic of I don't know, and I don't feel like I can say no to this person.
Right.
So they ended up having an affair for 3 years.
God.
He took her virginity.
Oh,
yeah. She had no experience. And on top of this, like, she had no experience with men before him. During this time, he would tell her about relationships he had with other women, too, even bragging about at one point having a threesome.
Ew.
And I mean, imagine how hurtful and detrimental this probably was to this girl.
Yeah.
So and he would say to her, we're in love. This is what love is. God brought us together, etc. So in her senior year, Spencer was deployed for one of his weird, I don't know what
his Air Force band.
Yeah, Air Force band thing.
He's got to play backup bass.
Yeah. So she realized how much happier she was when he was gone and what a relief she felt. And she finally decided to tell her parents because she had held this secret for so long. And she had become really reclusive. She stopped talking to all her friends, stopped talking to her family. She had all this shame around what was happening. And she was also worried about a potential STD because I guess a few times Spencer had made STD jokes. And she's like, do I have an STD? Like, what's going on?
She's got the itch.
She got the itch
down there.
Well, eventually, I mean, they say in the documentary, Jenifer ends up getting tested for STDs because she finds out, Spencer's been cheating this whole time and she has chlamydia.
Yeah.
So,
surprise.
She ends up telling her parents and her parents are like, you need to go to the police.
Yeah.
So she does. He gets arrested. And apparently when the cops come to the house to arrest him, Jenifer yells, just so you know, he's a very good person. Yells that to the cops.
Oh, yeah. They come in to like search the house or whatever.
Yeah. I'm like, that is so dark.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Why would you yell that?
He's
a good person. Be nice to him.
At this point, she doesn't know what he's being arrested for because Spencer also yelled, I guess, don't tell her what this is for or something.
Yeah, because she's like, what's happening? What's happening?
Yeah. And he's like, don't say anything to her. Yeah. So members of the community in Marietta didn't believe this poor girl.
Ugh.
And they were like,
yeah, why would they? They're like, teacher of the year.
Yeah.
He owns a wine bar. He's an Eagle Scout.
Yeah. They're like, this guy's been teacher of the year.
Yeah.
2 years in a row. He has a wife. He's in the Air Force. He's an amazing guy. He received nothing but support from the locals. Like narcissist shit where everyone in the community thinks he's amazing. Other teachers think he's great. And Rachel is like, teachers saw him like holding my hand and stuff, and they didn't do anything. They just thought it was him being nice. Also,
I don't know. That's weird.
Right. Also, apparently, he always kept a blanket over the window of his office so that people couldn't see in.
Oh, I missed that part.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Right. So Rachel says, I went from a happy, carefree, and hopeful teenager to a cynical, angry, and depressed one. I completely shut myself off from people. I withdrew from my family and my friends. And by the time I was a senior, I had no communication with anyone that I was involved with at school. I felt like I wasn't deserving of anything good in my life. So no one believed her because Spence was such a good guy. Everyone thought that maybe Rachel had a crush on him and she was denied, or, she got a bad grade and was trying to get back at him, or there was some sort of miscommunication.
Crazy.
Everyone just was Team Spence. And after he's arrested, one of Jenifer's friends is like, hey, people are commenting on Spencer's Facebook page. You should really shut down his social media.
Uh-oh.
So Jenifer logs into his Facebook. And that leads, this is where it all goes downhill. Thank God, that leads her to his email account. And she clicks on a folder that says photos, which I'm like, is that even a folder?
So in the email account or in the Facebook message?
It said in the documentary in the emails. Like, I don't have a folder that says photos.
I think
you?
Is that
Maybe
in Yahoo Mail or Hotmail where there's a photos?
Yeah, it must have been in some sort of.
This guy's got Yahoo Mail for sure.
He's
got AOL Mail.
He was using. But she clicks on this photo tab, whatever system he's using, and there's tons of naked photos of women.
Just tons.
Like one after another. And then she finds all these text message chains and DM messages on Facebook and sexting. And she's like, oh my God, who is my husband?
He was also having sex with sex workers.
Yes. And there's all these email correspondent of him being like, hi, what time is blah, blah, blah available? And
how much? Like 300 roses.
Yeah.
Is what they use.
It's a TikTok live. Gang, gang. Pop, pop. Yeah. And she finds out that he cheated on her the week of her wedding.
Yes.
He had 2 to 3 year long affairs with multiple women, some at the same time.
What's crazy to me is how he kept all this organized. How do you know?
I don't.
Fascinating.
Yeah, it's crazy. I dated a serial cheater, and he was like cheating on me with several people. He had like multiple like girlfriends. Well, I guess it's the same thing. Like he had multiple girlfriends. Yeah. He was dating me. He at one point I think he had like 3 girlfriends at the same time. 3 people who probably thought we were his girlfriend, and then was also having sex with other people at the same time. That
is so much work.
It's crazy. I'm like, where do you have the time? And I found out, well, from text message and also like my intuition, and it was also very obvious. But I found out because I was on his computer one day when he was like passed out because he was like a big drinker. And I mean, I was drinking a lot at the time too. And there is a video like on his desktop, and I clicked on the video and it was him having sex with our coworker. And I knew that it was like a current video because of like, it was in his like new
There was a newspaper thing going on.
He was just holding up a newspaper. Like, that's so funny. Yeah, but I'm like, I don't know. It's like a whole new level of, I don't know.
Well, when you got like sex addiction or love addiction.
Yeah. I don't, what is it, like power? I mean, I don't fully understand sex addiction.
I don't know. I mean, I've dated like different guys at the same time, but like.
Yeah, that's totally different though.
No more than 2?
Yeah. I mean, like, I think you should date several people at the same time when you're trying to figure out who you like or who you don't like or, you know, whatever. Right. And if you're not exclusive with someone, you know, then sure, if you want to have sex with multiple people.
But if you're married.
Yeah, that's a different story.
Psycho.
Or if someone thinks you're monogamous, or if you if you like imply that you are.
Crazy.
She also finds out that he was having sex at the wine bar all the time. He was just using it kind of as a stomping grounds to find people to have sex with. And he would put a sign on, it's like a sock on the door. He would put like, be back in 5 minutes or like out to lunch. And he would just be having sex with women in the bar.
Crazy, like constantly, like every day.
Yeah. Insane. So I was thinking like, who do predators seek out? No one deserves to be sought out by a predator, and you don't do anything to...
It's not your fault.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault. I am not talking about rape.
Yes.
I am talking about like who are like people like Spencer like attracted to. Who are these people? Mm-hmm. Who are these kind of people attracted to? And I think that people like this will like test the waters or test boundaries to see how far that they can get, you know, like inch by inch, you know, if they say something a little salacious and you don't react,
right,
then they'll get a little bit more salacious and a little bit more salacious until eventually that, you know, they'll try something, you know, and then you're in a space where you feel uncomfortable saying no now because it's gone a little bit too far.
Like the 16-year-old student.
Yeah. And like
you're
feel
like, this is my
head.
Teacher. I'm supposed to trust him.
Right.
Also, I want to get good grades in school.
Yeah.
So I don't want to upset him.
But I also mean like as an adult, I've been in situation with men where, you know, like we've been texting or something and they've said something sexual to me. And I've just been like, ha, 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 you know, and then, you know, or LOL. And then, you know, they've continued to say something sexual.
Yes.
And then, you know, they've continued to say something sexual, you know, and then I get like a dick pic or something, you know, this is like in my 20s. And I never had that moment where I'm like, I feel uncomfortable with what you're saying. Like, don't talk to me like that, you know, or like, I'm not interested in you that way. And if you don't set that boundary, then like they'll keep going.
Yeah, where you don't want to like confront, like, well, I don't want to upset them because I like this guy and I want them to like me. So I don't want to say anything to upset them.
Yeah. And I think that like, if you don't set that firm boundary, predators will continue to push it to whatever extent until that boundary is firmly set, you know? And this psychologist said, like, if you reward manipulation, it will just escalate the manipulation and overstepping of boundaries, which I thought was like an interesting way to put it. And predators never go after like the most confident woman in the room. They'll go after someone who's kind of like hiding in the back or might have insecurities or family issues going on, or, you know, someone who wants to be seen as special or validated or needs that attention or needs that outside reassurance in order to feel whole, because that's the easiest way to get in. So that's why it's so important for teen girls, but not even teen girls, like adult women and adult men who might like be the victim of predators too, to like have self-esteem and like know how to set boundaries so that you're not trying to seek it from outside sources, from people who like are unsafe, you know?
Vampires.
Yes, emotional vampires. There were 6 sexual assault charges against Spencer Wayne Herron in connection to all of the different incidences. He pleaded guilty to every one of them in 2019.
And he was Teacher of the Year 2016, 2017?
Yeah, 2016 and 2017.
So this affair with Rachel, the student, was happening while he won Teacher of the Year.
Yeah, and I think that's why it was so hard for everyone to be like...
Yeah.
Because I think he only had sex with Rachel, but he might have groped other students.
Yeah, there was another student for having sex with 2 of his high school students groping another.
I don't know if it's a Rachel or another student, but it says one of the students filed a lawsuit this summer against 3 of her former administrators, alleging they failed to follow rules that would have protected her.
Whoa. At that school.
Great. Yeah. No, at a random other school.
At another school.
Just a random other school. Yeah, so the reason he was never charged with statutory rape is even though they were minors, the age of consent in Georgia is 16. He had 60 illicit affairs while he was married.
60!
Yeah, 60, which although they were manipulative, were not coerced. They decided.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He got 6 years in prison and 15 years probation as a sexual offender. In summer of 2022, he was released from Wilcox State Prison and he was ordered to register as a sex offender.
So he's out.
He's out now. So I was looking on Reddit. I read on Reddit, which they don't talk about in the documentary, but maybe it's in the podcast, which I haven't listened to, that apparently Jenifer was putting money in his commissary the whole time. Which I'm like, that's insane.
What?
The way that I would make my husband / ex-husband like starve in jail would be 100%.
That is fucking, I'm sure he like would call her and like manipulate her into like, that's what he does, like feeling bad or like.
Well, he would write her. It said he would like write her letters in jail,
like every day. It was so fucking weird.
And then it showed. I was gonna record it, but then I was like, I don't know what the legality is. Like, we probably can't play it. But there was recordings of him being like, you know, it's not that big a deal. Everyone just needs to forget about it. You know, I don't really have a problem. There's people in here who masturbate in public. Like, I'm not like that. Like, this guy has no remorse, no accountability, nothing.
Yeah, that's crazy, is that he doesn't acknowledge anything, that he did anything wrong.
Jenifer doesn't seem, I mean, maybe she's disassociated, but she does not, or maybe she just for the podcast feels like she needs to be on okay terms with him in order to speak with him or something for content, but she does not seem that mad, or I don't know. I think she's somehow still delusional or something.
Yeah, because it happened not that long ago. I think she probably just hasn't really processed it yet. I don't know.
Yeah, I I don't know. Anyways, the story is really crazy. Watch the documentary on Hulu, Betrayal, The Perfect Husband. Listen to the podcast. We'll have to listen to it. A case, I think, of narcissism and sex addiction and scary. I also don't know how she could not have known.
I was thinking that too during the documentary.
60 women?
I guess he would use the wine bar as an excuse of like where he is all the time, like at work.
Yeah.
I just don't know what times a day he was doing this, or like, I don't know. All I'm saying is that I would know.
I would know. I knew.
Yeah.
I think that there has to be a part of her that knew or didn't want to know or just didn't want to believe.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
That's my greatest nightmare, is that you think your husband is just a saint and then you're completely blindsided. Like, is that possible? Is it possible?
That's what I think about Martin all the time.
Me too.
I'm like, if you have a secret family and you're cheating on me, I wouldn't trust I wouldn't know I wouldn't trust myself anymore.
I was thinking about Adam actually the other day, because I was like, Adam is so nice. He's just like the first like really nice guy I've dated. And then I'm like, if the other shoe were to drop, I think I'd be done.
I would never be able to trust my judgment on anything anymore.
No, I would just be like, I don't know how I missed.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Cut to a year from now, Martin and Adam
we're like you and I
How
are living in some sort of commune. Yeah.
Fuck.
God damn it.
God
Anyways, if you guys have any information about this, or if you've just been completely blindsided, I would love to hear. Yeah, call us. Or if you want to anonymously call about sex addiction and like explain it to us, just the phenomenon or where it comes from, no judgment. You know, like, I'm an addict in a different way. I would just love to know, where the compulsion comes from. Whatever. Where can people reach us, Melissa?
You can email us at webcrawlerspod@gmail.com or call us at 626-420-69.
I almost sang the old one. All right. Well, I am Allie Siegel.
I'm Melissa Stettin.
And that's all, folks.
Bye.
Bye.
Powered by Acast.